Alright, I've got this analog clock that come out of a 73 Mustang, and had a couple people asking about it, so I was just going to cover a few things that I had to do to fix it up and get it working again. First of all, to pull these things apart, what you're going to need to do is bend all these little tabs up that holds the face on. There's just a handful of these around the perimeter. Get these up out of the way. I guess some needle nosers would be a little bit easier, but might have been what I used the first time. I'm no professional cameraman, so y'all just bear with me. Alright, so I got the tabs. Now, this grommet back here is really the only thing that holds this clock in once you get them. Once you get them tabs loose, be gentle with it. It is 50 years old. And inside, right here, it's got these pieces that's kind of a friction fit to your casing. You can see right there in the corners where it's kind of scratched up, so if it's hanging up, that's where it's going to be hanging up at. Alright, so I'm going to pull the grommet out and lay it aside. Now, to get your lens off, what you're going to want to do, locate your adjustment knob, the shaft on the back, a little tiny gear right there. Alright, hold of that, and then just twist it off. It's got regular standard threads on that adjustment knob. Oh. That knob will just come right off, and that'll release the lens and little bezel plate there. Alright, now what was wrong with mine, back here on this coil, get something point with, keep my sausage fingers out of the way. Back here on this coil, there was a wire that wraps around the end of this wire. It was glued right here where this, you see that old glue? It was glued there, and it folded back around, and it soldered onto this point. Well, this point right here, that wire was broke right here. Now these little tiny coils, they're run in conjunction with each other. So you should be able to look at this and find out if you have an ohms meter or something. I guess an ohms would be the easiest way to do. Let's see, where's that little, where is it? There it is. It's kind of hard to see, but up inside of the clock, right in there, there's a set of points. Now, I did clean these. I just took a little tiny precision file and clean those points. But what this thing does is when them contacts are made and it's got good power to it and everything's working properly, it kicks this gear back. You can see it clicking there, and then it holds. And you'll see all of this stuff working. Alright, and that's your second hand rolling around. Now when this thing don't have connection to it, when that gear, see if I can find it again on the back side, when that gear goes down and them points connect, when there's no power, it don't do anything. When you finally get power and that thing runs all the way down and them points connect, it shoves that gear back around, and you'll hear a little tick. Like every 30 seconds or every minute, whatever it is, you'll hear a little tick. But that's what the problem was with my clock, was that wire being broke off. I was not getting contact between the positive side, which the bottom of your T, this is going to be your positive, this one up here is going to be your negative. You can see where it's screwed directly onto the body of the clock. So that's your ground side. But I was not getting contact between here and the end of that point. Matter of fact, you can see it. See if I can get the camera in there. There's two little plates right here, and right in behind that plate is a little piece that sticks up, and that's part of your contact right there. So you should be able to get a full ohms reading from this point here down to these brass plates right here. If you're not, then you've got a bad connection. One of these wires, I mean, I couldn't even tell it was broke. It was laid up there, but the connection had already broke. And that's all it was. As soon as I hooked it back up, and you can actually, what I did is I took and I hooked a jumper wire up right here, run it to the positive side on a car battery, and came over here and run the negative side wire and just jumpered it straight to a car battery. And if your clock is actually working, then it'll start ticking. But I just wasn't getting a connection from here. It wouldn't work when the wire was hooked up here, because that little tiny wire here was broke. So they're pretty cool to sit there and watch run. Once you get them going, they're not too terribly bad to take apart. But you know, some little things like this, you know, not everybody wants to dive into it. It's really nothing to be worried about. I'm no rocket scientist by no means. Then it's just a matter of, I guess, putting it back together the right way. Like I said, forgive me. I know I'm not no cameraman, but that's the lowdown on it. And I did run some WD-40 on the gears and stuff like that in there to get that thing to tighten up. You can pull that out and engage it into the gears, and once it starts moving your hands, it's plenty tight enough. And then just bend your little tabs back down. As far as the glass go, or the plexiglass, it's just plastic lens that's on here. I'll show you what I used to restore it, and it worked. It actually worked pretty good. I didn't even have to put any kind of like top coat or anything on it. There. So there it is. Got the grommet back in. Oh, and these right here too, your little rubber bushings are probably pretty dry rotted. I actually just took a chunk of a vacuum line off the car, borrowed a couple little tiny pieces, put the new brass inserts, and then just took a little rusty tetanus filled razor blade and scored a line around it where it'd slide back in here. And I guess these are some kind of anti-vibration mounts for your clock. That worked out pretty good. Got fresh rubber in there. And let's see. And for the face, of course, you can tell, you can see my reflection in there, so that face cleaned up pretty good. What I did is I started at like 600 grit and then moved to, I think, 12, 1500, and then 2000 grit wet sanding. And then you can get these little buffing kits. They're actually made for jewelry. It says on the package. I think I picked this up for like $6 at Harbor Freight. It came with 2 of these and the 2 stones, or the 2 compound blocks, and I just buffed the heck out of that glass with it, and it came out that good. I didn't have to spray no kind of clear top coat or anything. So, but that's all there is to it. If you have any more questions, just let me know and see if I can help you out.